Is what all animals would do this, and it's proven that if you take mice, put them in water for 20 seconds with weights on them, they'll work out really hard, and then take them out for 4 minutes, and they'll have this breath that goes for about 4 minutes, and then it sort of comes to normal. Put them back into the water, repeats it 6 times. That's 20 seconds times 6. That's 2 minutes of exercise, and compare it to your control group of rats. And you have them doing aerobic exercise, swimming in water, for 6 hours a day. In that kind of aerobic exercise, you're going to increase your mitochondria with that much exercise. You're going to increase what's measurable called aerobic capacity. And these little rats over here that did 2 minutes of exercise have the same aerobic capacity growth as the group that did 6 hours. They did the same thing with athletes, and they found that this 2 minutes of intense exercise, 20 seconds, intense exercise, and rest. Now, most of us are not athletes, so we can't really do 20 seconds of intense exercise without hurting our backs or hurting our body. You know, but really, if you can do that, that's great. But I was teaching it that way, everybody got backaches and whatever. So, I mean, you can just do this really to get out of breath in 20 seconds. Actually, in 10 seconds of intense exercise, you can use up all of your body's ATP energy. And then if you relax, now your body can't make it very quickly back. So now you're out of energy, you're out of breath, your body wants to breathe in more oxygen. And in doing that little recovery breath, what happens is you grow mitochondria to absorb the oxygen more efficiently, and that's proven with the rats. And you also generate the repair enzymes, which is the only way you can create more mitochondria is to repair your genes. And that's why you get this repair happening in the adrenal function by taking superfoods. That little exercise I just mentioned to you is a superfood. It does the same thing if you'll do it. So what you do is you do a little exercise where you're out of breath, or just get your body warm.
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Exhale. Yeah, you can do it through 2 or 3 minutes. Just get your body awake. Then exhale all the way and then hold your breath out. So you're like, basically, you're out of breath. You don't have any oxygen. You're challenging your breath. Not challenging muscles, challenging breath. So you all the way out. If you've done enough little intense exercise before, after 8 seconds, you should be going, I need oxygen. And you go, after a minute of that, you shift over to breathing through your nose, which is harder to get as much air in, so you've got to go back into. I'm doing it with my mind now. But you want it to be automatic. If it is an automatic response, it means your body is generating repair enzymes. You do that 6 cycles, even 4 to 6 cycles, you'll start losing weight quickly, your energy levels will increase, and you'll be able to eat more food without putting on weight because you're actually increasing your mitochondria that utilize energy. That's an amazing, amazing technique.
Is there a name to that exercise? Is there a name?
So,
oh, you invented it.
Recovery breath.
Recovery breath.
But I was just talking to the world record holder for a man who's my age. He's actually younger, 57, who does long distance running and sprint running and everything. And I was telling him about the idea. He says, this is just what I've been teaching people for 20 years or something, plus this whole new thing of the recovery breath. Because any athlete, after you've done your intense workout, 100-yard dash, what are you going to do afterwards? You run a little bit and you're going to go like this, and you'll stop. And when you stop the body's natural recovery process if you just allow it to go, and then you learn to allow it to go. And once you start doing this, what you'll notice while you're in that recovery breath, if you start thinking about bills, and then come back, you stop doing recovery. You can't use your left brain in the recovery. Literally, you have to become primitive brain. If you use your brain, you'll see your breathing will go back to, stopping. You have to allow your body to go into this recovery. So just like when you use weights, you challenge your muscles, you challenge them, then you rest them, your body will respond by rebuilding. Same thing with your mitochondria, and the thing that challenges mitochondria more than anything is oxygen deprivation. So there's way more I could talk about this, about 30-minute explanation, but it's similar to when you work out at a high altitude and then come back down, work out at high altitude. You're challenging your receptors, your mitochondria, and you grow mitochondria that way. So this is such an easy thing that anybody can do. We just had the education out there, which is, once again, I'm happy to sign books. 6 cycles, that's... Okay, I get up and I do this, and I beyond honest disclosure, I don't do it every time. I'm going to be in Oz. I've already taped the show, what is it, April 6th. But I had to go on Oz show. He goes out and shows off his body and everything. So I had to go out and do that myself, but I gained a few pounds. So 1 week training, that's all I needed. It was 20 minutes every day. And I went right back to my in-shape figure. I mean, just right back, because I did this little 30-minute exercise. you know, for me, is when I'm feeling really great, then I get lazy about that stuff. It's when you start going out of balance that I do have to put up some hard work on it. Otherwise, I just walk for exercise. I think it's the ultimate thing people have been doing for centuries, but if you get out of shape. So I get up, here's the recovery breath. Okay, I get up, I do a couple of minutes of bounce and shake. I take a deep breath, relax on the exhale, and push it all the way out. Grab my nose, hold my breath out for 8 seconds. By the time I get to 8 seconds, I should really be going, I need air. Right. If I didn't, then I didn't exercise vigorously enough. Okay, your body. So now I really need to get that breath. And then I pant for a minute. I got a clock over there. I pant for a minute. Then I go to my nose.
1 minute.
I shift over to my nose about after a minute, and it gets intense again. And you don't want to be, like right now I'm doing it with my mind. Okay? But we're not doing that. Oh, here's another addition to it. I forgot. I was making it short. You do the bounce and shake. Okay, then for 20 seconds, this is the intensity. You do intense breathing from yoga. So you know breath of fire in yoga? It goes like this. Let's all do it. Then I'll hold our breaths out. Okay, try this. Now exhale. Hold your breath. Okay, now I could actually go to about 15 because I didn't really do a full bounce and shake. But you get the idea. You do the breathing empties your body of all the carbon dioxide. So now your body wants to gasp for air. So you kind of have to breathe out a little bit more. So you're simulating being out of air in a few seconds, 20 seconds of it. Then you do your relaxing breathing for 4 minutes. And in the beginning, if it stops, then you just do 3 minutes or 2 minutes. But when you get up, do some more bounce and shake, do the fast breathing, then do your recovery breath. After 2 or 3 revolutions of this, you'll be seeing you can go 4 minutes of this automatic breath that happens. That's where the healing takes place. And ideally, you do 6 cycles. And that's where the research was done. And they showed, even with college students who have a huge aerobic capacity, when they did the swimming thing, they put the rats through, the control group, doing just 30 minutes, which is 2 minutes of actual intense exercise, equaled the other group who did hours and hours of aerobic exercise.
Wow. Bounce, then breath of fire, and then hold your breath out? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Bounce, breath of fire, hold your breath out 8 seconds, and now
For a minute.
Breath of fire, like 2 minutes also?
not even 20 seconds, 20, 30
It's
seconds.
on your website.
Yeah.
Are you recording
Maybe.
that?
I don't know what's on there, but it's
Your blog?
MarsVenus.com. That one's not out there so much. I did do a video of it at one point. I don't know if we have it up right now. Join Facebook. Who's on Facebook? Be my friend on Facebook. I'm really. And then you start having underfunctioning thyroid. Then you're not able to purify your blood and you get cancer. One of the preventative measures to protect us from cancer is good iodine supplementation and avoidance of chlorine and fluoride, just as a practical measure. It's very cheap to get a filter for your shower. It's at $50 for about a year's worth, and it will knock the chlorine out of your shower. That's the most toxic place. But you also
Softened water, does that make a difference?
the softened water is not necessarily good for your bones. It seems to leach out minerals in your bone, but as long as it's not too soft.
But where do you put the crystal ball? For the shower or for
Well,
the...
you crystal ball for the bath.
Oh, you put
For
it
the bath.
inside the...
Now, I'll tell you another amazing product. First of all, we talked about the mica from Mount Fuji, which is, what's that called? Everybody knows that, somebody mentioned the name of it. It's these minerals. I don't use chlorine in my hot tub at all. Anybody have a hot tub? Okay, well, bottom line, you put these minerals in your hot tub for 9 months, you have nothing, no bacterial infection will grow. Just put 8 ounces of mica minerals into your hot Adya, A-D-Y-A, Adya minerals. You put it in your hot tub and nothing happens. Also, I got a new product I'll be telling people about more as it becomes more on the market, which is stabilized probiotics that you spray your house with. You spray your pillows with it and it kills all of the dust mites instantly. Okay, and what happens is 10% of the weight of your pillow after a few years is the poop of dust mites, and we're allergic to that to various degrees, which puts a stress on our immune system. And if ever you're waking up with itchy eyes, and clearly you've got a lot of big allergy to those little dust mites, and you spray this liquid probiotic, trillions of probiotics come out in your spray. I only get my clothes washed because my wife thinks it's too gross if I don't. because all I have to do is spray with probiotics, and they will eat up the source of all odor. And you do it. This is the great thing, which is going to be for old folks' homes. You go into these places, they smell like urine. It's horrible. It's toxic. If you just fog the place with probiotics, it's very cheap. You put it in water, little teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, dilute it in water, put it in a fog machine, fog the whole place, urine smells go away. One of the #1 killers in America is MRSA. Who's heard of MRSA? Okay, you go into a hospital, you are now vulnerable to getting MRSA, which is an infection, a viral infection that they don't have antibiotics to cure, and people die from it. It's one of the #1 killers in our country. And what they found is rather than cleaning with what are those things called when they kill viral infection? Disinfectants. Here's a principle to know. Disinfectants cause infection. The most disinfected place in the world is a hospital. The highest rate of infection is a hospital. Now, why is that? One simple principle. When you use a disinfectant, whether it be on your hands, whether it be on the table in a room, in a hospital, you disinfect. You suddenly, in an instant, with those disinfectants, you kill all of the bacteria. Now you have dead bacteria. Dead bacteria is food for new bacteria. So somebody walks in and touches, one little bacteria in 8 hours turns into 8 billion bacteria. These things are multiplying instantly, just like that. If you can measure bacteria infection on something by what's called an ATP meter, because they're generating energy. Energy is ATP. So you have a detector that will do. So you go over a surface and you can measure how much bacteria infection is on it. Spray with a disinfectant, it will go to 0 instantly. It goes to 0. You just killed them all. Wait 10 minutes, and now it's half back. Wait an hour, it's all back. Same thing with your hands. Put disinfectants on your hands. You have no bacteria. An hour later, you've got more. Because you've got food for all the next bacteria that comes to you. If you put probiotics, spray with probiotics, 1 day later before bacteria start coming back. The probiotics eat up all the food that feeds the bacteria, and when you eat up the food supply of bacteria, they can't multiply and they die very quickly. This is like the most amazing thing. This is coming on the market now. The company is called Chrysal, CHRSAL. I'm probably spelling it wrong, Chrysal. It's not yet on my site. I'm trying to get it on there. They have one that has a pine smell to it so people know it smells like something. And I said, no, I don't want to put the pine smell in. Just straight. Also, bacterial infections in your mouth. Anybody ever get soreness in your mouth after eating sugar? Yeah, anybody ever have that? Like a little soreness here? These are these deep infections. And as soon as the sugar goes in, you've got thousands of little bacteria eating it, waking up and causing an infection, causing pain in your teeth. So if ever I get little, I eat dessert here or there, my teeth, I got some real deep infection from when I was 20 years old, some tooth back there. So you have to watch it, but it will hurt if I eat some sugar. I just have to spray my mouth with some probiotics, pain gone instantly. The probiotics eat up all bacterial infections.
Does it work for gum disease?
Yeah, gum disease, fantastic.
Yeah,
You just do
gum recession, what do you do?
Now, another thing for gum disease, if you're not going to use Chrysal, but that would be the one. It's not as easy to find right now. But for gum disease, something I've done as well, it just takes a little bit longer, but it's a really wonderful thing to do. It's what they've done in all these sort of indigenous cultures, this one particularly from Russia, and it is you take sesame seed oil, also Ayurvedic remedy, a tablespoon of sesame seed oil or sunflower seed oil, tablespoon, put it in your mouth, and just swish it around for the next 15 minutes. Kind of like you're eating it, but you're swishing it around, swishing out. Your gums will feel fantastic. All the redness, the infection will start going away very quickly, and you're also detoxifying your body for longevity. It's also a very peaceful time when I know my wife is doing it. I can just stand next to her, and she's not going to say anything. You don't know how peaceful it is. Because women, you never know what they're going to say. And guys like just to be around your wife and know nothing's going to be said for 20 minutes. You just feel so relaxed. Your belly relaxes.
What does it actually do? What is it doing?
The oils pull toxins out of the body. Okay, now part of that process is the way the body stores toxins is with fat. Okay, your body stores toxins in fat. So you got a tablespoon of fat, oil in your body. What your body will do is it wants to absorb fresh oil and get rid of old oil. So it's literally like a grocery store. When you get the new stuff, you put it here and you put the old stuff out. They get for people to buy the old stuff first. So you put oil in your body, then your body starts kicking out the old oils, and with the old oils come the toxins. So an Ayurvedic system for this is where you drink a ton of oil, and you poop out all this black stuff, because what you're doing is you're replacing the bad oils with good oils by eating primarily just, they would do, I think it was sesame seed oil and ghee oil. They'll just do a diet of just that. But there's a whole science to all that. I'm not recommending it. But basically, the one that's pretty universal around the world is just taking the oil.
In the morning or when?
In the morning. That's when your body's naturally detoxifying in your mouth, is in the morning.
You said sesame seed
What is that?
or what?
What's the recipe of the mouth sesame seed oil?
It's either a tablespoon of sesame seed oil, and make sure it's organic. You don't want to be putting non-organic oils in your mouth, okay? So and don't spit it in your sink either. Spit it in the toilet. It's highly toxic what comes out. At least that's what they say. So spit it in your toilet and
For
flush
10
it
minutes?
down.
How long? 10 minutes?
Well, some people do it 20 minutes. Some people do it 30 minutes. Some people say 15 minutes. Spit it out, and then do 15 minutes more. It's in that range, so I say 20 minutes. That's what I do.
What
Yes?
about the coconut oil and the sodium bicarbonate?
Well, coconut oil is a really great. Are you talking about combining them together?
Yes.
I don't know about that remedy. I'll sign this while you tell us.
Well, I've heard that coconut oil with the sodium bicarbonate,
Yeah,
with
Dr.
baking
Hassar
soda,
told us.
is really supposed to be great. I've tried
What?
it, and I liked it a lot.
Coconut oil with sodium bicarb, but
For what?
aluminum free, the same thing.
For oil pulling.
Oh, washing your mouth out with it. Oh, I see. Yeah, coconut
Yeah.
oil would be great. It's a fat. It's a good fat. And so
Yeah.
probably the best fat.
Yeah.
And some
Right.
sodium bicarbonate. I brush my teeth, by the way, with baking soda.
Right.
Now, why do I brush my teeth with baking soda? Okay, you can go online. One of these doctors who's done thousands of people, dentists, he says the #1 cause of tooth decay is toothpaste. Okay, toothpaste. I mean, really, take a moment to look at. Here we have everybody having tooth decay, and everybody taking toothpaste. You know, so what he looked at, he says, what is it in toothpaste that causes tooth decay? What is it in toothpaste is glycerin. When you put, not so much in the morning, but at night, when you put glycerin on your teeth, it produces silky covering, and it interferes with the regrowing of your teeth with calcium. So what happens is your teeth don't regenerate themselves. And ever since I have stopped brushing my teeth and washing my mouth with probiotics, I have no plaque, I don't need my teeth done at all, and I have no infections going on, but I do floss, and when I floss, I don't have any bleeding, you know, which I used to have bleeding because of my gums. So those are the probiotics will certainly kill any bacteria in your mouth. They die. They die because they're starved. The probiotics are bigger than your bacteria, and they go and they eat up all the food. It's amazing. And what you should know is when you use a toothbrush after a few uses, it's covered with bacteria. You're giving yourself infections when you brush with a toothbrush. It's covered with bacteria. There was a little device I had for years, which is a little ozone generator. You put your toothpaste, you touch it, and it sprays ozone, killing the bacteria in your toothbrush. It's not on the market because you never need to replace your toothbrush. It doesn't break down. It stays a fresh brush if you kill the bacteria. So there's that, but now I don't even bother with that. I just take my Crisol, which is my little spray, and you can put it in a little cup of water. I leave my toothbrush in a little cup of water with the probiotics, and it stays bacteria free. I mean, it's amazing stuff. This is going to change the world, this Crisol stuff, because somebody was just talking about asthma. You know, they have terrible asthma. What do you do for asthma? Well, first of all, there's some supplements. For asthma, you immediately take 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day, and allergies as well. 4,000 to 10,000 milligrams of MSM. MSM is what your body uses to build itself. It's a sulfur product. Well, I'm just going to do a standard format. 2,000 twice a day of vitamin C, of MSM, and of glycine. All things the adrenal needs to function. But that would, see, it's always adrenal malfunction that causes asthma, along with allergies and dehydration of your lungs and various things. And so what has happened, we've seen now with kids with asthma, go into their homes, they're extremely allergic to the mold. Like you go into, like this child I was just talking to is a Florida kid. Mold lives in Florida. Florida is mold capital of the world. San Diego, mold everywhere. It's just all that humidity and everything. Mold grows, like when the rains come, people's allergies get worse. The mold spores start coming up into the air. And so we're hyper allergic to mold. And what will happen is if you spray your house with this probiotic spray, kills all mold instantly. You don't have to go in and scrub anything, whatever. Just put it in your ventilation system, sucking in the air. You just spray it in. And Crisol, this is what it's called, stabilized liquid probiotics. NATO started using it 25 years ago. They sprayed it on their engines and it cleaned the engines of all the airplanes. These probiotics eat everything. They're like a cleanser. You can clean anything. You get that mold growing in your tiles. You know how it gradually gets darker and darker and darker? Spray it with Crisol. After a few weeks, it's all white again. The mold gets eaten up by these little bacteria.
So you get it online, Crisol?
Crisol you can buy online. Yeah, it's going to become known. I'm going to popularize this thing to the heck. It's been around 20 years. I've got stacks of research this guy showed me where they go into hospitals and they do four stories. One story in one section, they say, use Crisol to clean. Don't use anything else to clean. Just use Crisol to clean. And they measure MRSA levels gone. MRSA everywhere else in the hospital, you can find it everywhere, but not on that floor. Then change floors. Use the Crisol on this floor and go back to the regular cleaners and the regular disinfectants that cause infection. Remember, disinfectant causes infection. It's short term. And then boom, your infections come back. And then suddenly now this floor is MRSA free. You know who's using this now? LA gyms. Is that LA gym? Is what it's called? LA. And they're trying to get all the gyms to do it because MRSA is cropping up in all the gyms. People are getting all these toe funguses and all these problems, and some people are dying from MRSA, which is starting to happen in school. You know,
In the sauna also?
Anywhere where people are today, these infections are increasing, and they get MRSA, which is antibiotic resistant. There's nothing you can do, and it kills kids, and they're terrible sicknesses. I saw a 60 Minutes special on it, where the football coach, the football quarterback, one of the team members, over there dying in a few weeks after catching an infection in the gym. So people are like getting freaked out about this. So the gyms, they're now fogging. They don't have to wipe anything down. It's like it saves them a ton of money. They just go in and fog the place. There's no gym smell. You know that smell in a gym? That's all bacteria infection. Any smell you have, your infection happens, and then it starts creating the odor. So in your clothes, you can just spray your clothes. It's like instant dry cleaning. It's amazing. I will tell you how many days I've worn this shirt. Not at all, you know, it's just like spray it, and you know how your closet can start getting musty, you know? You just go and spray your closet. For me, until I started using Crisol, you know, I have a bunch of shirts, you know, a big closet filled with all this stuff, and I can't wear all of it in a year. And so if a shirt stays there for a while, mold will start to grow on it. Dust starts to grow on it, you know. So, and then I go up to those shirts like, ooh, I'll react to, ooh, I didn't want to wear it. And then I have to send it to my cleaners. Half my clothes I'd send to the cleaners just to clean off the growth of mold and bacteria, that smell that gets on clothes. And which is why I love first class. To sit next to somebody in coach who has moldy clothes, it's horrible. You know, I mean, my allergy goes on. So I feel like it's poisoning people. Anyway, coming back out of that. So I sprayed my closet. I just sprayed my closet. Now I don't have to do my clothes again. Once they're in there, you just spray the closet. If you done, and you think, how much do you have to get in there? You have to realize this is microscopic stuff. If you want to kill the mites under your pillow, you just spray on top of the pillow. So those little mites coming down, they've been all vaporized coming down. It's like the Grand Canyon to get in between two threads. This is a microscopic world of all this stuff that's going on. Bacteria is growing everywhere. And you just spray it and you get these bigger bacteria, beneficial probiotic bacteria. Anyway, that's Crisol.
How do you fog? How do you do the fogging?
What you do is you get a few teaspoons of the pure liquid Crisol, and then you mix it with a gallon of water. And you get a little fogging machine from Home Depot, and you just go around fogging. And this is every you know, your parents, all this home care, the room smells like urine. All you have to do is spray the room. A few days later, there's no urine smells at all. Everything clean as can be. Any kind of smells, any kind of odors, old carpet smells. You go to some people's houses and a big stink comes out. Spray with this stuff. It doesn't deodorize. Deodorize cover up. Where odors come from is from bacteria infection. Bacteria is just growing and it stinks.
So it works with toenail fungus too?
Yeah, all works with just spray on your toenail fungus. And the funniest thing, when I first discovered it, was the first time I ever had any fungus on my, you know, they get athlete's feet where the fungus is, you're getting the skin peeling off and everything. I never even had it, but it's like I got it at the perfect time because then I got it to spray and sprayed it, and 2 days later it was gone. You know, it's just like, this is probiotics. We got into probiotics because we were talking about
The stomach.
Candida. Now, I have high hopes for this in terms of Candida, but you could never make a claim for it because basically you say that this is just a disinfectant. No, this is just a cleaner as you demonstrate and spray it into your mouth. And put it all around. It tastes great. You feel so good. Your teeth feel so clean, whatever. It just cleans. But you have stains and whatever, you put it on. I was having lunch with the inventor, and I was wearing these kind of, again, I was on vacation. I don't know, we were light white pants. but it was vacation to qualify that. I'm still from Mars. Men are from Mars, you know that thing. So I had these very light blue pants, okay? It was a vacation outfit, and makes my wife happy when I change clothes. So, otherwise I'll wear the same outfit, who cares? And I'm talking to this guy, and I spilled chili right on these like light colored pants. And I got chili, and I said, well, we'll just put it to the test. And I just put the little probiotic spray, I just sprayed my pants, sprayed, let them sit for a while, wiped it off. I mean, this is like amazing. Here I am selling soap or something, but I'm just telling people about it. But it's really probiotics. One of the best things we can do for our body and for our environment is to clean it up. These are like God's little creatures here to help us out.
And then is the same that you spray in the mouth, the one you spray for the floor or whatever on the
Who's this?
Yes.
bath? It's the same thing.
Same thing.
What's that?
Same thing.
The same thing, because for the mouth you absorb it inside your body to clean stuff.
That's right, cleans your body inside. And it's just natural probiotics. It's the very thing that our mother's milk gives us as babies. And as soon as we have antibiotics, they all die off. And this is what's kept our civilization healthy, is that mothers pass on these probiotics to the baby in breastfeeding.
Is that the colostrum thing?
Well, colostrum is getting it from cows, but it's not getting it from mothers.
Oh.
Which, by the way, the ProGerd is probiotics from mothers. So it's human probiotics. Okay, they make it from 8 different parts of the body, but it's human probiotic. You see, you've got the strains, which have shown to be really good, but really we're all given probiotic at birth from our mothers, and what gets rid of it, as soon as you do antibiotics, you lose it. Done, gone. And even if you got no antibiotics, pesticides go into your gut and kill the beneficial probiotics, and Candida begins to overgrow. And so many symptoms happen from Candida.
So Crisol, you can order it from crisol.com?
If you do a Google search, if you do liquid probiotic and Crisol, he's got something going. He's just getting it up, you know.
So is it ingestible?
Well, he can't say it's an ingestible. Okay.
That's what I mean. When you spray in the mouth, it goes
Obviously.
inside your body.
We don't have any
Ingest
tests.
it. Oh.
We don't have any tests on what it does for you inside, but I'm certainly enjoying it. I know for sure. I mean, you can do a mouthwash with it because it cleans your teeth. So there's a mouthwash where you put it in your mouth.
You spray it, absorb it through the.
Oh yeah, you just see what you're getting there is it's cheap version of trillions of probiotics. I mentioned ProGerd, which is human probiotic, which is probably the very, very best when it comes to killing Candida. But here's something that could help as well, possibly. I don't know as far as internal goes. But we do know, here's another thing, psoriasis. Anybody know somebody with psoriasis?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let me just see. So, you know, it's really horrible. I've never had it, but my friend's got it. The skin itches. You got to itch, and if you itch, it makes it worse. Well, these probiotics do not cure psoriasis, but as soon as you do one spray, all itching gone. It's gone. So then you don't itch it again better, faster. And then what heals psoriasis is don't itch it, along with taking mega doses of MSM. MSM is probably one of the most important supplements to take. It's pretty cheap, a pound for $25. You take a teaspoon regularly, unless you have some condition, arthritis, collagen, wrinkles, anything, allergies. MSM handles so many things. But MSM, if you'll see, go online to horsewarehouse.com. Horse Warehouse, buy by the gallon. Okay, MSM is the #1 supplement for horses. What most people don't know is if you look at all the formulas for horses, they're the best nutritional supplements there are. Because the whole horse industry, these are performance horses. They know supplements makes them work better. If, you know, they get it. And those horses run to death if you don't help them recover. So MSM is the #1 horse supplement. And you get it by the gallon there. And so then you can actually do the higher doses, like 10 grams. Now, if you do 10 grams a day of MSM, rebuild your collagen, your body's collagen, wrinkles, skin, your skin looks more beautiful, moist, and so forth. Also helpful for allergies, and I got into this because it's so good for asthma. The first 2 days will be a detox. So whether you take a few teaspoons or 10 teaspoons, you're going to get a headache and feel nauseous, because it will cause massive detox. But once you get through the detox after a couple of days, now your body's replenishing and rebuilding and so forth. So you can take high doses of MSM, and there's no negative side effect. It's the most non-toxic substance on the planet. You know, when you talk about chondroitin and what's the other one?
Glucosamine.
Okay, chondroitin and glucosamine, you hear all about that because it does take away arthritic pains to various degrees. your body makes glucosamine and chondroitin out of MSM. And MSM is cheaper than chondroitin and glucosamine. So they tell you to do that. The MSM is the super thing, along with vitamin C. These are like your real super supplements to be taking every day.
10 grams a day. 10 grams.
Well, I'm just saying this is what some people say. Now, 2 grams a day is a good amount. But if you've got a real big condition, like that
Like
person who has,
yeast or whatever.
yeah, you could do 10 grams a day. I mean, I know experts who take 10 grams a day. And they say anybody can do it, but you'll have 2 days of uncomfortable side effects. But you're feeding your body till symptoms go away, then go back to a couple grams a day. I like to do, it's like a teaspoon. You can buy capsules, but if you buy the powder, it's very bitter, but it's cheaper. You put a powder on your tongue, it just has a cool flavor to it, and then you take water and swish it down real fast. Just get it into your body. Otherwise, it's very, very bitter.
Yeah.
The bitter is something in our Western society we just don't have enough of. You know, the Asians will talk about you need all the different tastes. You know, we don't like bitter. We just want sweet.
It regrows cartilage, right?
It regrows your cartilage, regrows your skin, it makes collagen.
Yeah.
Now, one of our speakers here was talking about the importance of taking collagen. The irony is, collagen is made from one of the biggest sources of collagen is gelatin. So those little gelatin caps. So now everybody wants vegetarian caps, which is fine as you're vegetarian, but actually the gelatin and the gelatin pills is probably the best thing you could be taking. Huge research on how gelatin builds collagen. But go one step deeper, it's MSM and vitamin C that allows your body to make collagen, that then make chondroitin, to make your skin, to make your brain chemicals, to make everything comes from these basic building blocks. MSM is one of those basic things. She had a question right here.
So you're just taking the powder directly?
I do the powder directly. People who can't handle that, like kids, you want to give your kids after their allergies, capsules are good.
But you have to do it with vitamin C?
Vitamin C helps, the body needs collagen, it needs MSM and vitamin C in order to make collagen. So those 2 things. And there's a man in here, Freelander, who gave a talk. He has a collagen supplement, which I take. It's a fantastic supplement. I don't do it all the time. I do it for a while. You know, I have my basic program that I do every day. I've been doing it for 10 years. Undenatured whey protein and casein protein. That's when we're talking about dairy. As long as it's not pasteurized, I don't see it having toxic effects. Maybe some people are so allergic to it, it will. But in which case you can then go out and get an easy to digest protein, which is called sprouted brown rice protein. They have sprouted brown rice protein powders. I'm really into protein powders along with omega-3 fats, along with molasses as a blended drink. In all my books, the last few books, I've given little formulas for that. On my website, I have some premixes, different brands. I put these formulas together. But the one that I love is the casein and whey protein. I mean, I can't live without this stuff. It gives me so much energy. I'll just keep going on and on and on. Because it's casein protein slowly digests. So you're getting this protein supplement for hours and hours and hours. And people always think protein for your muscles. Forget about your muscles unless you want to be muscle man. Protein is what makes your brain work. All of protein, digested protein, creates amino acids. Tryptophan turns into serotonin. Phenylalanine, tyrosine turns into dopamine. You know, glutamine, I think it's glutamine, it turns into GABA. So these are your amino acids that come from protein. That's why women have to have protein every morning. These carbohydrate breakfasts will cause depression. A little bit of protein every morning. And your best protein, if you're not going to do easy to digest protein shakes, you have to realize if you're already not making brain chemicals, that will cause your stress to go up. When your stress is up, you can't digest proteins. You cannot digest your proteins when you're stressed.
Yeah.
So if you're already stressed because you're not making enough brain chemicals, now you go to eat protein, you can't digest it to make more brain chemicals. So you get in there, you have to stop the cycle of getting worse and worse. So you find it super easy to digest protein. Now, if you were an extreme drug addict, all extreme drug addicts can't digest protein at all. So what you would do if it was extreme is you'd go down to Tijuana and you get what's called an IV drip of protein. And they have these different drug rehab centers down there. They don't talk, they don't share, there's no AA. I've seen it. They all sit around in a circle and they get an IV drip of protein, a certain balance of phenylalanine and tyrosine and GABA and tryptophan. And it's dripped into you for 3 hours. I've seen heroin addictions, no side effects of going off the drug by getting IV drips. OxyContin doctors there who are addicted to OxyContin. There's so many drug addict doctors. And sugar addiction, cigarette addiction, speed addiction, cocaine addiction, all of them. I sat and watched because I heard about it. I wanted to go see it. I didn't want to just read it. Sat down there and thought, well, gee, I'm not addicted, but I'll go ahead and try it anyway. And they share a little bit, telling about their addiction. And they're all tired. That's the main side effect. They're all tired. And they're asking me, what's yours? I said, I don't have any addictions. I'm just trying it. And they go, oh, yeah, denial. Get the bum out of here. But and that was 10 years ago. That's what got me onto the whole thing of unpasteurized dairy. Because what I experienced from having an IV of protein is my brain worked like I'd forgotten how good it could work. My wife noticed it the most. She said, you're just the most attentive, wonderful husband. I said, I always am. She goes, once or twice a month. But now you're like every day, and it's starting to decline, so I want you to go back to Tijuana. I went back and did a few more treatments, but it would fade away. And it's because I wasn't doing anything to eat easy digested proteins every day. And that's when I started doing the non-pasteurized. It's called undenatured whey, undenatured casein, mixed 50-50 around that range. And then you've got this steady flow of protein, not huge amounts of sugar. And even for people, one of the best sweeteners is molasses. Molasses will cure so many things, just that. For women particularly, you're losing iron during your cycle. Molasses will replenish it just like that. It is your best iron supplement is molasses. It has, but all the minerals your body needs is in molasses. Why do our bodies need those minerals particularly and in that balance? Because when we eat with processed sugar, which is somewhere out there we're getting in our systems or have gotten, what molasses is when they process sugar, they take the minerals out of it. And that's what molasses is. It's the minerals that are supposed to go with your sugar when you eat sugar. So to compensate for all of the depletion of minerals in our body, a little molasses, just a teaspoon or so, along with the undenatured whey, along with the undenatured casein, along with some form of omega-3. Now, omega-3 is necessary for brain function, producing brain chemicals. It could be chia seeds. Ground flax works, although people say it's to oxidize. But you can flash pasteurize it, and suddenly it will sustain its omega-3 value. So some products have that in it. Another is for your omega-3. I just have to mention, for all parents with ADD kids or brain problems or whatever, it's proven omega-3 DHA makes your children more intelligent. Just proven. I mean, how can you get an FDA claim? You can get FDA claim taking omega-3 supplements with DHA will make your child smarter. And they don't let you make those kind of claims. There's a lot of good research. And then it was the #1 product of the year last year at the Expo West Natural Foods Conference. And it's Vectomega, V-E-C-T-O, Vectomega. It comes from salmon brain in a form called phosphatidylcholine and serine that goes straight into the child's brain or your brain. And instantly, you will absorb up to 50 times more omega-3 in your brain than if you're just having fish oil. And that's what we want. We don't get to the brain. Now, fish oil has other properties for taking away inflammation in your body. Okay, take your fish oils. But if you want to get inflammation away in your brain, which is actually what's causing inflammation everywhere else, you get these salmon heads. And so Vectomega is great research. I was really against fish oils because we're eating up all the fish. We need fish. But they say that the company is sustainable and that the salmon are reproducing themselves enough so they can keep killing them and getting the salmon brains. But is there a danger? They say the water's really pure over there. But, I mentioned in my talk with the group, we're all getting, what you have to know is you can look at 30% of our mercury toxicity comes from fish, and it's 40%, 30 to 40, and 60% of our mercury toxicity comes from a particular form of mercury that is unique to Chinese smelting plants. The Chinese and their coal and their smelting plants are putting out pollution. That pollution flies in the sky and comes over here and settles down, and it is mercury toxicity. They've done this research. 60% of our mercury toxicity in our body, which causes exhaustion, inability of the brain to function, all these problems can happen from that. It's actually, there's no way we can stop it. And it's doubling by the next few years in China. They're becoming the new America. They've got all of our, we're producing mercury in the air now, but they're like 7 times more, only to become more. What can you do? Okay, so you've got different types of chelation. That's called taking heavy metals out of your body. My favorite technique is I'm closing in 20 minutes.
They're closing all the buildings.
All right, we come to my hotel room. No, just kidding. The mercury toxicity. There was a hospital in San Francisco for chronic fatigue. A whole floor was dedicated, several floors, chronic fatigue patients. They did an experiment with one floor, and they just told them not to eat fish for 3 months. and they all on that floor recovered from chronic fatigue. I'm just telling you that's one of the major contributing factors to chronic fatigue is heavy metal toxicity in the brain. What is the green stuff that's in Mexican food? Well, cilantro and Corella. Thank you both. Cilantro and Corella have shown to carry mercury and other heavy metals out of the body. That's A. B. There's nothing more powerful. This is why I take what I call Mars Venus Super Minerals. Okay, it's a product I formulate on my website, which has got all of the minerals in there. Selenium, for example, chelates heavy metals out of your brain. Another one is what is in bamboo? Silica. Silica pulls heavy metals out of your brain. So these minerals also pull the metals out of the brain, and they detoxify so much. I'll give you my own history. I developed these products. I just wanted every mineral. I found, how do I get all the minerals in an organic form, plant source minerals, and put it into a product? Nobody had it. I said, then I'm going to make it, and mainly for I could have my family. I want to take these pills every day. And I was doing it for about a year, noticed all these improvements, all these people noticing improvements. Then I did on a chelation program with a good friend of mine, Gary Gordon, who's got like about 15 supplements you take to help pull out metals in your body, and he really does as well. And so I'm doing his product, and for 2 weeks, suddenly my mouth became metal. Metals were coming out my mouth rather than my feet. So you're supposed to come down out your feet. That's the elimination system, is through your feet, perspiring in your feet. But somehow it was coming out my mouth, so I had what's called metallic taste in my mouth. I looked online. There was 1 million people in America that experienced this syndrome. It's called burning mouth syndrome. I had burning mouth syndrome for a year. And I stopped doing his program. He said he'd never seen that happen, so maybe it hasn't. But I'm doing this heavy-duty chelation program, pulling heavy metals out of my brain. But they weren't going out my feet. They were coming out my mouth. And so I stopped doing that program. It lessened a bit. And then I took my super minerals. Boom, came back. Pow. And so here I was telling people, take my super minerals. But every time I took them, I had burning mouth syndrome. So I was like in a real perplexed state. So I had to stop talking about it for a while to figure this thing out. Then I cured the burning mouth syndrome using my super minerals because they were pulling out these chelation. This is my own experience to back up this research which is out there saying that minerals take heavy metals out of your brain. We're all deficient in minerals because we eat sugar. Sugar depletes your brain of minerals. So the cure for this, so I got rid of the burning mouth syndrome, I haven't had it since, with foot baths. All I had to do was just like a fluke. I was studying foot baths at the time, and I put my foot in hot water, 20 minutes hot water, or 10 minutes hot water, then a couple minutes of cold water, 10 minutes hot water, a couple minutes cold water, 10 minutes of hot water, a couple minutes cold water. One of the oldest remedies on the planet is alternating hot and cold water on your feet. And instantly all my burning mouth syndrome went away. For the 1 million people who suffer from burning mouth syndrome, which in my experience and belief, it's the metals going down into your mouth rather than out through your feet. Why do I say out through my feet? Because once I did the hot-cold bath on my feet, that opened the detoxification channels, and suddenly it wasn't coming out my mouth anymore. It must have been coming out my feet. So it was amazing. And so and then what they have on the market is all those foot pads. Anybody sell the foot pads here? It's a bit of placebo. I've seen some research saying they don't really do much, but they sure look like they do something because you put them on your feet at night and you wake up and they're all black. But you could also put apple cider vinegar on them and they come out all black in the morning too. But the reality is foot baths really do work. And then you've got the ionized foot baths that probably enhance it a little. But the reality is the old-fashioned foot baths, just hot water, cold water, not on your whole body, just on your feet. It pulls the toxins out of your body through your feet. Think about your feet. You're walking, you're perspiring in your feet. That's pulling the toxins out of your body. We get stuck up because we don't walk enough. As I mentioned before, the bounce and shake is a replacement for not getting enough walking because we're designed as human beings to walk 4 hours a day. And if we don't, we've done it for millions of years. All people have done it. Animals do it. It's movement stimulates the lymphatic system. Also, it's very interesting. NASA discovered this. Because when astronauts went out in space, 1 hour outside the Earth's ionosphere, just 1 hour, the first cosmonaut went out, he came back with what was called space sickness. What was space sickness? He had bone degeneration in 1 hour, extreme depression the rest of his life, all kinds of immune system problems, and died 6 years later. He was never well after that. This is one of the most fit Russians there was, 1 hour outside the Earth's ionosphere. So it wasn't lack of gravity. And lack of gravity will gradually cause bone degeneration, but not total osteoporosis in 1 hour. What caused it? What caused it, they finally figured out, is that as human beings, we are dependent on, for the organization, our brain and body and everything to work, resonating with the Earth's electromagnetic field. Right now, the Earth's electromagnetic field can be measured right here, the little machine. And what they found is that if I move the little measuring up and go, closer I get, it gets louder. It gets less. And if I go like this, what does it do? It pulses. What turns out, the body is dependent upon pulsing electromagnetic fields to our cells in order to generate energy. We cannot function without moving up and down on the earth. That's why people start dying once they lie down on a bed rest. You're gone. You've got a limited amount of time. You actually have to move up and down, which is what this oldest of all exercises is this moving up and down. Little trampolines will do the same thing. But to me, it's like you're grounded, it's cheap, and I do it. I've got 2 of the best trampolines for doing that, but I like my little up and down movement. You're grounded on the earth. And the key to this is that you're in the Earth's electromagnetic field. So if we send spacemen out, or cosmonauts out, or NASA astronauts out, they have a pulsed electromagnetic field, simulating the same electromagnetic pulsation that would happen if you went walking. Wow. And that's pulsing in their spaceships and their space outfits when they go out and in their spaceships. Otherwise, they will all, in an hour, get space sickness. Now, you can get in what's called a Faraday cage. UCLA does a study. A Faraday cage will prevent the electromagnetic fields from getting to your body. And within a very short period of time, you'll start becoming disorganized, you become anxious, you become distressed, and then they stop the experiment. So the bottom line is that you have to be in relationships with the Earth's electromagnetic field, living on the ground, living high in buildings. You may make sure you spend a lot of time down close to the Earth because it's strongest next to the Earth. And this up and down movement will simulate, half an hour of this generally simulates about 4 hours of walking. So that's the full thing. But if you walk some, you don't have to do it so much. Now, in Europe, they have something that reverses osteoporosis, proven to reverse osteoporosis. They got over 300,000 of these centers around Europe that will reverse osteoporosis. I have a friend at my ranch who has a motorcycle, and he got a motorcycle accident, lost his leg. So they bring the leg to the hospital, they sewed it on, and they put magnets over it so his bones would grow back. Magnetic fields cause bones to grow. He thought, okay, I wanted to heal faster, so he kept them on all the time. Now he's got these huge bones, and it's more uncomfortable now because he did that. He should have followed the instructions on how much magnetic field to expose himself. But magnetic fields stimulate bone growth. So what they do is they have these pads, electromagnetic field, and they pulse it. They probably sell them here as well. There's several thousand to buy. I have one. I like it. I love it. But not everybody can afford that. So this is the cheaper version of it is if you're doing this, you're getting the same result. All it's doing is pulsing the Earth's electromagnetic field, but it is proven to reverse osteoporosis. This is why in China and all these cultures, they all do this. That little Chinese lady jumped up, we do that, and she comes, 1 minute, big deal. I'm sure that's a nice little 1 minute. But they do it for 30 minutes to an hour there. If you're toxic, they do it for an hour. If you're just kind of normal and you're sick, they want to have you do it for 30 minutes because they know when they give you the herbs, which will help heal you, you first have to detoxify to absorb the herbs. If your cells are toxic, there's no exchange. And this up and down movement has been proven by NASA, the pulsations of the Earth's electromagnetic field, proven by NASA to increase what's called cell membrane permeability, which is the cell's ability to absorb nutrients and kick waste out. So if you don't have cell membrane permeability, you can't make enough, you can't absorb the nutrients you have, and you can't move the waste out. And that's what you're doing every time you do that little bounce and shake exercise. It's a phenomenal exercise. At my courses, I give away my free DVD. I just didn't have them here. But I have a DVD where you can do it with me. I'm dressed in a ninja outfit, and I'm doing, so I look really thin. And I'm doing my little bounce and shake exercise with mood music. And then I do a series of exercises from Tai Chi. And I'm going to just tell you one of them, which is this. Now, what this is will stimulate your thyroid. And all of us tend to have bad thyroid function. But if you just slowly move your hands in one direction, just do it for a minute or so every day, you're going to help your thyroid. I tested these movements out. I do big movements here. I do movements where you spin around from the Sufis. I do movements where you do these big Tai Chi movements like this. And I tested it with massive doses of niacin, vitamin B3, which increases your blood circulation. If you do it with big doses of niacin, you'll see that when you do this movement, blood rushes to here intensely. If you do this big movement here, blood rushes to your chest. If you do these hula movements like this, you get blood down in your belly. So you'll see all of these old traditions in dance, all these moves are essential for good health. And yet we've started to, to some extent we dance, like laughing and dancing is always good for us, maybe one of the healthiest things.
For
Yes?
thyroid, just a little bit here.
Yeah, it's slow. Okay, I'll
Slow.
put the book down and just show you what the exercise is.
So you
It's-
do it at the level of your thyroid?
Yeah,
Here,
right at
on
the
this
level of
side.
your thyroid, right here, just slowly like
Just
this.
slowly,
Just
okay.
slow. I might go, and you go one direction. And on the exhale, turn your hands, go the other direction. And then when you get all the way out, then you do this movement. Little tiny movements. And then you do big movements. Not real big, but just fairly big. And then you go, breathe in and breathe out. You might go the other direction. I do different variations. And then when you're out of air, you just these little tiny movements. And the way I got that is in advanced Tai Chi classes, what you learn is not the big movements, but it's these little tiny movements that you make down here that stimulate the energy flow up your spine and to your brain. And it's always little movements. When you get really good, you'll see how fluid people become. But what I learned from a Tai Chi master from China, where they do this Qigong and stuff, is energy movement. The most important exercises are the easy ones. They're the warm-ups. See, every system of exercise has its warm-ups. Those are the things that make you healthy. Everything beyond that makes you a circus performer. Basically, this is the nature of men, particularly, well, if you can do that, I can do it better. So, you see these guys, these amazing Tai Chi things, and there's competitions and karate and Qigong, and, you're going to do this for 3 hours and all this. You become a Superman, okay? You can become a Superman, you become a super competitor. How many minutes? 10? 10 minutes, okay, no problem. So you become a super competitor, but that's not for health. For health, all you have to do is the warm-ups. The easy stuff is where it's at. So then now we come to jogging. How many joggers do we have in the room? Okay, so here's the story with jogging. I teach these wellness classes up in Mendocino at my ranch, and I've been doing them for 10 years. I get all kinds of people who will come up there. It's a long trek to get there. It's 4 hours of driving after you get to San Francisco. So there's always like a group of about 30 or 40 people we meet together, and a new group. And one of them was an Olympic Russian athlete. So I don't have any documentation on this, but I just want you to know it's interesting. You hear this stuff. I was talking about the potential dangers of jogging. Because my Chinese mentors, old guys, go, why would you over-exercise your body? You're just giving yourself more mileage. The car's going to break one day. But, healthy jogging is one thing, over-jogging is another. Okay, so here is this guy. He's like, yes, yes, yes. In Russia, back in the early 80s, when America started doing all the jogging. And my joke here is I lived in Santa Monica at that time. La Cienega Boulevard was covered with joggers, right? Just massive joggers. Now they're very rare. And what happens, they all died. Because the worst place to jog, and that was a joke, but the worst is where everybody's got exhaustion. Where a car exhausts and you're heavy breathing, it's the worst thing you possibly could do. But the Russian government, when we were all into jogging, it's supposed to be good for your heart and everything, they instituted mandatory jogging. And the red square, the big square, it was covered with people jogging all over the place. Government, everybody's government, they're all jogging. And then they have their statistics for their health care, and they saw that the amount of heart attacks dramatically increased. So then they outlawed it. So there's no more jogging on red square. One person makes a decision, everybody does it. But there's a direct link to overexhausting yourself and heart disease. Your best exercise is very similar to what I was talking about, with my little mitochondria exercise with the recovery breath. There's another less as good, but something very convenient, is walking and then sprinting. And then walking and sprinting. Walking and sprinting. And basically, that will have way more benefits than just straight jogging or straight walking. Now, ultimately, when you sprint, you go as hard as you can without hurting yourself. And then, if you're really smart, you will just stand there for a few minutes, unless you have to walk because you're with other people. You can just do your recovery breath. Yeah. But I do this when I go for walks with my wife. We get to a hill. Whenever we get to a hill, I run up the hill, and then I wait for her, like that. And then I have to stop all that so I can talk to her for a little bit. And then women like to talk, which, by the way, walking and talking is a major oxytocin producer. Oxytocin is the most powerful hormone to lower stress in a woman's body. For men, it just makes us sleepy. Therefore, all of the things that make women really happy kind of make men sleepy. Like sex, we go to sleep right afterwards. Yes, you want to say something probably about jogging.
Walking and sprinting. I've been a distance runner for a long time. I tend to sprint. and then slow down enough so I can continue jogging rather than walking, but
You're doing the alternating. The alternating is what challenges your body in this
So
way.
is there more benefit to actually slowing completely to a walk? Because I felt that
Yes.
I cooled down too fast.
No, you want that sudden stop. That kicks in. It's literally like the repair enzymes only kick in if there's a big destruction. You have a tsunami, they all come out. If it's kind of like a junkyard, they don't bother. Okay, you got to really give yourself a stop real suddenly. And not that it's not always convenient, but even more powerful you might try it is a sprint and then just sit down and do your fast breath. I mean, the recovery breath. Do the recovery breath, and then do some walking, and then sprint again, and then sit down. If you can relax your muscles and be aware of your breathing while you're uncontrollably breathing fast, that's the key. That's that you're generating repair enzymes. You're now like a little plant that's growing in a high altitude with low oxygen.
It's so funny because when you do that and you do a sprint and then you stop suddenly, they say it's not good for your heart. You
Yeah,
can get
I know,
heart
because you're gonna
attack.
oh, your heart goes like
Because I
crazy.
used to do competition like running or swimming, and
Yeah.
they say don't stop after you do a sprint. You have to go a little slower.
I understand. It's
Warm
warmed
down.
down, the whole
Warm
thing,
down.
you know. If somebody had heart disease, I wouldn't recommend it right away. I should have said that, you know, with the breathing thing and all that. But, you know,
Okay.
you got to be so cautious when any doctor recommends an exercise thing because somebody got a heart attack from it. You'd be blamed for giving that advice. But basically, 20 seconds is all I'm talking about the sprint. Not going to cause heart disease for anybody. Except, you know, a lot of men do have their last hurrah having sex, you know, that climax, you know, what a way to go. You know? But gradually building up to it, you're going to increase your circulation, you're going to increase your mitochondria, you're going to lower your blood pressure, and then you shouldn't have any problems. Yes, lady in the black shirt.
Any supplements or other things you would recommend for thyroid stimulation?
Okay, Iodine. Did you hear me talk about Iodine? It's iodine. It's 12.5 milligrams of a formula of iodine and potassium iodide. It will also protect you from the radiation, which is now slowly coming over through the water. All fish will now be radioactive to a greater extent. Now, it used to be you could go over a Geiger counter over America, and only certain places would there be radiation. Now there's nowhere in America where you can't detect radiation ever since the Gulf War, because we used depleted uranium. It's against global law, but we used depleted uranium in our armed forces, and I was teaching a whole seminar on it, and I found out the guy in the audience was actually from the Pentagon, and he was saying, well, we found, and the whole thing was depleted uranium. And he said to me, I said, well, what? He thought like I was some psychic or something because I was picking it up, and probably I was, but then he said, so I said, well, haven't you found that it's dangerous? Well, of course, depleted uranium is dangerous, but in the doses that we use, it's not really that dangerous. I said, oh, really? Have you tested it? He says, yeah, I tested it. I said, did you just go in? Oh, no, we use protective gear. You know, we don't want to be exposed to that. I said, okay, do you get the disconnecting? He kind of go, well, yeah. I wouldn't do it. You know, they're protected against depleted uranium. It's uranium, radioactive iodine is what happens with it, and that gets in your system. And so that's why everybody's telling the potassium iodide supplement. But the reality is now all the water's coming over, so it's good to just supplement regularly with potassium iodine and iodine. It's one of the oldest supplements on the market. It started 150 years ago from a guy named Dr. Lugal in France. Women's cysts, women's fibroids, women's other things, whatever goes on, there's like the number one thing. And the doctors were just so happy to get drugs, because why would you go pay a doctor when they only gave you Lugal solution? You can go buy it yourself. Even to this day, you can't buy it very easily. Lugal solution is a liquid. You can't. I used to put it in my hot tubs for people. Iodine hot tubs is fantastic. That's what the Romans and Greeks did. You take iodine in hot water and salt, and your body starts absorbing the iodine and cures everything. That was the cure-all back in the Greek days. Iodine. Iodine kills all bacterial infections. If you have enough iodine in your throat, every 14 minutes, all the blood goes through your thyroid to be purified. It is the blood purifier. It puts out iodine to do it. The next place your body stores iodine after the thyroid is your breasts. You can't get breast. Every woman with breast cancer doesn't have any iodine in her breast. They've done that study as well. So you need to have enough iodine so your thyroid fills up with it, your breasts fill up with it, then the next is your ovaries and your prostate. When men have prostate cancer, they have no iodine in the prostate. So you can measure this stuff. Iodine is stored in men in their prostate. So iodine kills infections. Those are the first place your body will store it. Then it stores it everywhere. You know, we could be taking 70 times more iodine a day, and we'd be eating the equivalent of a Japanese woman every day. So this is their diet. So you can go online, you can just search this for IADORAL, which is a supplement, which is great for your thyroid, as well as clearing out the chlorine and the fluoride and all that stuff.
AIDO.
AODORAL, Iodoral. Okay.
What about MDF for thyroid?
I might have misspelled it. It sounds so much like Adderall, but it's not Adderall. It's Iodoral. Iodoral, something like that. You do Google search iodine supplement, Iodoral will come up. It's the only company that makes it in powdered form, so that you can take higher doses of it without sort of feeling irritated by the Lugol solution. If you do Lugol, the liquid, your body doesn't digest it too well, so you can only take smaller amounts. Okay, all the way in the back, yes?
What is your next seminar? And does your video that we got here, Venus, will that have all the movements that you were doing?
Yeah, my website has the movements. There's a DVD of my movements, plus the Tai Chi movements, as well as easy ground movements for the floor. But to be honest, I haven't done them in 2 years because I'm so fit. But I got fit by doing those exercises. I used to have back pain, and there's 7 exercises for building your core up. Very easy stuff, like being on all fours and lifting this up and lifting this up. And what people don't know about me is that I was one of the first yoga teachers in the West. My teacher was Maharishi back in 1969 when they first invented videotape. I did the first videotape of yoga on planet Earth. I could never do like I did then. I was like this little worm, could do all those things. But yoga has always been my background, and yet I've moved into all these other things because I truly believe, and I know to be the case, there was a time when all the ills of the planet could be solved by meditation, by good thinking, through love. When you meditate, you relax your cortisol levels. When you love, your brain produces brain chemicals that would heal anything. But everybody in those days was on an organic diet, and the food was mineral rich. So all you need is a positive mental outlook if you have all the nutrition that your body requires and you're not toxic. But once you become nutritionally deficient and toxic, you can try to maintain positive thinking. It doesn't heal your body, because your body only can be healed of the body. You have to respect the body. The mind, you respect the mind. They interrelated. So yeah, there was a time, there's kind of a new age myth that I call it a myth, where if you think positive, you can cure anything. Baloney. You can't eat toxins and be nutritionally deficient. You can't build muscle or organs out of thought. Thought allows those processes to take place. It's our negative thoughts that interfere with the body's regeneration ability. But you've got to think positive. You've got to be positive. Your actions have to be positive, meaning service, as selfless service as you can find. That all generates the production of these brain chemicals. But to make those brain chemicals, you've got to put food in. That's why for me, I eat my basic wellness program. My website, I've got a thing, which is a shake with all these superfoods in it. The book talks about those superfoods, my super minerals in that little lemon drink, lemon and aloe vera, plus probiotics and enzymes. Every morning I do that. I have that breakfast for my nutrition, and I eat the rest of the day for recreation. Because you really can't get nutrition today. I mean, you really can't. UCLA did a study on spinach. Like this morning I had 2 eggs, spinach, and tomatoes, and wonderful little breakfast. But the spinach, if you were to take a head of spinach 20 years ago and measure the mineral content of it just 20 years ago, and now you need 5 heads of spinach to have the same amount. And 20 years ago, it was already hugely deficient from the time we started using pesticides.
Wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wheatgrass is a great
Can I ask you
thing.
a quick question?
Yes.
I've been a raw vegan for about 19 years and a vegetarian like half my life, and I have so many issues with sleep.
I'm sorry, let me just get the name
down.
here. I'm so sorry, but I have to do my job here. Cookie, C-O-K, C-O-O-K-I-E.
Multitask.
Okay, which I can't do. This is signing my name, which I've learned to do that without thinking. L-Y-N-N? L-Y, to Lynn, L-Y. Okay, so we're talking vegan, and what was the question?
So I've been a raw vegan for like 19 years and I've been a vegetarian for 30, and I've been happy as a professional kid, so my energy is very high.
Yeah.
And at night I can't come down and sleep, and I don't want to take any kind of medication. I don't drink caffeine or alcohol, sugar, white flour, nothing. I've struggled for like 8 years with insomnia. My friend here too. We listen to tapes, we do yoga, we take a walk.
Okay, here's your,
hot shower.
okay, if you're not sleeping at night, the number one reason we don't sleep at night, there's a lot of factors involved with it, is high cortisol. Your body is in a circadian rhythm, and cortisol is supposed to hit its lowest point at midnight, and it hits its highest point at 7 o'clock in the morning. and it fluctuates during the day. So that circadian rhythm is off. Now, how often do you touch the earth with your hands?
A lot.
And your feet?
In the sand, I walk and
Okay, so
grass.
then that's not that for many people will allow them to sleep better. I'm going to do that, A. B, how often do you do a hot bath?
I've been doing it every night lately. But
Well, and
before
it's
that-
not helping either. Okay, so in my experience, again, we have to go down the list here.
I don't get out in the sun enough, so like I stay up late at night doing the technology, and then I get up late, so my rhythm.
Oh, well, you have to get out of your rhythm. Okay, so you got to. The first thing is when you don't sleep at night, you want to exercise in the morning. You need to get up at sunrise and exercise, at least for a while, to reset. So you put on the alarm clock, you get up, you're exhausted and tired, and you do some kind of routine. And you exercise, you have to force yourself into that rhythm. And if you exercise in the morning, your body goes into this cycle. See, exercise increases cortisol. So what you're doing is you're kicking your cortisol up. Right now, if you're sleeping late, your cortisol is down when it's supposed to be up. So if you kick your cortisol up in the morning, then at night it goes down, and then your hot baths, I suggest keep doing them. What's missing there is kicking your cortisol up to a highest level first thing in the morning.
Even though I exercise every day, if it's not first thing in the morning.
No, not first thing in the morning. It's sunrise. Yeah. You have to put on an alarm clock. You have to see, you're in a circadian rhythm. You're out of the natural earth. See, all of nature wakes up at that time. Cortisol levels, and everybody, if you're sleeping in a regular pattern, it's highest at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6:30, whatever the time zone is.
But we're still having trouble sleeping at that hour.
What is that?
We'd like to get up at 7 a.m., but we're still having trouble sleeping.
At that time?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be sleeping at that time.
We're still going to sleep till 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I know, but then you want to sleep late, right?
Well, no, we're trying to sleep early.
Sleep at all.
But you're trying to sleep late. What I'm saying is you get up at sunrise, you go out and you walk and you do some exercise and you force yourself into that habit. Now that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is lithium orotate.
What?
Lithium orotate. Your diet's not giving you any lithium orotate. And maybe B12. Are you doing B12 extra?
Yes.
Okay, so you're compensating for that. The key factor that I see deficient that causes sleeping problems as well as mood swings, exhaustion, is lack of lithium orotate. So I have the product Super Minerals that has 4.5 milligrams. I take that in the morning, 2 capsules of that. That's the Mars Venus Super Minerals. It has all of the minerals and lithium orotate. Then at night, in the evening, get a straight little bottle for $15 or $10 of straight lithium orotate and take 4 more pills. Just give your body a lot of lithium for a while. You'll cut back after you get a nice regular sleep pattern. Lithium orotate, you won't see it in any sleeping product out there at all. Is the simplest thing. It is the #1 stress reducer. Is for your body to lower stress, we need to have lithium. Our bodies are depleted in lithium. The reason why you never hear about lithium orotate is because you hear about lithium carbonate, which is what they give to bipolar people. They give it to schizophrenics. And so everybody thinks it's for crazy people. Why do you think it works for those people? Because it makes their brain work. It's just they need more of it. No, not all health food stores. Vitamin Shop does it. My website does it. A few other websites do it. I've got a product called, I got a manufacturer to make a product called Vital Elements, and it's in lots of health food stores now, but Whole Foods still won't cover it because Whole Foods is still under the illusion that lithium is a drug. It's not a drug. It's over the counter. It's proven to be safe. There's not a possible side effect around it. But everybody's freaked out about it. Every doctor's freaked out about, oh, but we've seen side effects from lithium. No, you've seen side effects from toxic lithium doses. They give you 70 to 1,000 times more lithium than the doses I just recommended to you.
Is that what they put in sleeping pills? Because
no, nobody does it. You should put it in real pill. In just natural supplements, not in drug pills. It's not a drug. Lithium orotate is a mineral that we become depleted in when we're under stress or we eat carbohydrates. Now, you're not eating processed carbohydrates, so I'm not so concerned about that.
None of that.
No, I get it. It's a phenomenon. The other thing I would just, I would suggest all those things, and the next thing I'd say is eat some meat. But you'll sleep like a baby. But I know you don't want to do that. I get it. So I respect that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Lithium orotate is the big one there, and exercise in the morning.
You were mentioning earlier about back pain that you had, and you started doing yoga. I was here yesterday, and
I didn't do yoga. Yoga gave me back pain, just to let you know. A lot of people go into yoga classes with a bunch of young people. I'm so competitive, and I used to be a yoga master. I can do everything with my willpower goes to it. So for me, I wake up the next day, dead man. I rip my body to shreds. Because you can push yourself too far if you're competitive in a yoga class. I just want to say that for people that are like me. But yoga is great. What I created was the simplest little routine. You can't overdo it because it's not based upon. Here it's like push-ups. Let me demonstrate a push-up. Okay, it's a girly push-up. Okay, so here's a push-up. There's no way you can hurt yourself. So how do you get maximum benefit out of this push-up? Take a minute to go down until your muscles are shaking. See, it's the same action. Now I'm lifting my whole weight on my body. And I go all the way down, take a minute to go down, and then take a minute to come up. I'm going to do it faster. And what that simulates is the best workout for muscle building. It's slow, super slow. Who's heard of super slow? It's where you go into a gym and you only work out maximum 20 minutes. It's actually 12 minutes of lifting weight, and you will build more muscle mass than any other exercise routine that's been tested by taking a weight and doing it super slow. 60 seconds going up, 60 seconds coming down. And you find the weight to which after you do that 6 times, you can't do, your muscles go into breakdown. And you're done for the week. Your muscle will grow back bigger than if you worked out all week. Okay, it's an amazing thing. So these little exercises, I designed them based on super slow, but without needing weights. I don't want to.
Just 1 minute?
Yeah, just 6 times.
It's like isometric.
My question is,
Oh, you're gonna go eat. Oh, he's telling us to leave. I'm sorry, folks.
Okay.
We have to go now.
Thank you.
Something so wonderful.